What up, what up? Mike here. We got another Hack City stand-up comedy show happening September 9th, 7:30 p.m. at Union Hall in Brooklyn. Grab your tickets at asiannotasianpod.com, in the ticket link in our Instagram bio, or in the description of this episode. We got some fire comics. I'll be there. It's always a great time. See you there. If you want something bad enough, you can do it. But really, that's kind of like a mind trick, because if you want something bad enough, someone will exploit you. And not all clubs are like this. There are clubs that are better than others, and I think there's other things in the scene. But if somebody's like, you want it this bad, you want it that bad, do it for free.
And welcome back to another episode of Asian Not Asian Podcast, a podcast where two Asian guys not from Asia talk about American issues no American cares about. I'm your host, Fumi Abe.
And I'm Mike Nguyen.
Today is August 28th. It's a Saturday. We're coming at you from LA and New York. We are bi-coastal. Ooh, Gen Z. Ooh, ooh. I feel like Gen Z kids are like all about the fucking... anything they're into, you know what I'm saying? Bi-coastal. Bi-weekly paychecks, you know what I'm saying?
Bi-weekly paychecks. They're into that's why they're into Fortnite, because Fortnite is every 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks.
Hey, that was good.
I just made a connection, baby. All right, they're left-footed and right-footed when they play soccer. Boom. You don't know where they're going to kick the ball.
My God.
It's crazy.
Well, listen, before we get into all the announcements and shit, we just want to quickly apologize because we had a guest booked. Okay, we had a guest booked.
We did.
And we're going to get into it in a second. But something happened and this guest is not showing up. And so we don't have an outline for this episode. And so Mike and I quickly put some stuff together. And we're going to call this episode Two Messy Bitches Gossin'. Because we don't have a lot of, we don't have a lot of current events ready and stuff like that for the two of us to discuss. So we're just going to be gossing in this episode.
We are gossing.
We're gossing.
Yo, if you're listening to this on your Apple Podcast app, please leave a 5-star review. Leave a little comment about what messy gossip people we are. If you're on Spotify, hit follow so you can follow us, be notified whenever new episodes drop. If you haven't, check us out on YouTube. Hit like, give us a subscribe and all that good stuff. Tell all your friends. That's how we grow, baby.
Mm-hmm. That's how we grow, baby. Your friends are like hot water. And we are like soft penises. And when you... No. Soft penises don't necessarily get hard. You know what? I meant to say rice. I don't know why.
What?
Well, because rice kind of grows when you put hot water on it.
Rice grows when you put hot water. I see. That's true.
When you steam it. Yeah.
Okay, there you
That's
go.
A guarantee, but hot penises don't.
You know what it is? It's your reviews is the hot water, and then when you tell a friend, that's like you hitting white sushi mode on the rice cooker.
On the cooker, yeah.
And it takes longer, but boy, is it fluffy. It takes longer, but it's fluffier.
Yeah, so go ahead and leave that review. And before we get into the show, we give a shout out to our Patreon subscribers. What is Patreon? It is the best way to support our podcast. We are a complete independent operation. We're not with any network. It's just me and Mike and Fawn, our producer.
Yep.
And we need money to keep this thing going. Now that we don't live apart, we got to pay for Zoom. We have equipment, all that shit. So if you want to support the show, help us grow. If you like our work, go to patreon.com/AsianNotAsianPod and give us your money. And in return, we give you a shout out on the podcast. There's bonus episodes. There's all kinds of good stuff. So check that out. So we're going to give out a shout out to the 4 newest members of Patreon. First person. Is
this real?
We're about to... I don't know, man. This is fucked up because first of all, when you donate, you can put any name on there. It doesn't necessarily take the name from your credit card.
Yeah.
So our first donor is Safe Home Podcast. Now, let me say something. Before we Google this fucking podcast. I just realized that this Patreon shout out we do could be exploited to become like an advertising thing. Like
it really
people could just start plugging in their local... I didn't even think about that. None of our fans have even thought about that.
This person's thought about it.
I know, and now we just said the name of a podcast on like our podcast, which, you know... We're not huge, but we got an audience. Let me Google this motherfucker, okay? Safe Home Podcast. Safe Home Podcast? Who do you fucking think you are, buddy? It doesn't even come up on Google. Wait.
Here we go. I got one. I got one here. This is a Twitter. So I think it's called Safe Home Pod. Okay, this it says for struggling teens and their families finding their healing path. They've got 10 followers.
No, this is not fair. Same home podcast. This
I
is
don't
safe
know.
home.
I think I like to think maybe this person is someone who, you know what? Hold on here. There's also hold on here. Hold on. Stop. Everybody stop. Okay, check this out. Okay, I found it on YouTube. Okay, Safe Home Podcast. This person is Asian. There's an Asian person in this
that's good.
YouTube. It you know what? I think maybe this person maybe just paid through something. It auto populates. So I do see an Asian person in this YouTube thing. I don't know.
Okay.
That's the extent of the research I've done.
All right. Well, based on his facial features, what kind of Asian do you think he is?
I am going to say this person is a YouTube Asian and therefore Chinese.
YouTube Asian.
YouTube Chinese Asian.
Okay. Well, thanks for the money, but also this is kind of fucked up. All right. And I want you to think about what you did. Moving on to our other donors who followed instructions. We have JT, just the letter T.
JT. I'm going to say this person's Korean. Why not?
I'm going to say Filipino because I feel like J is like a cool name, like kind of like a R&B singer type, you know? And I feel if, I feel if Filipino people, if there was like a wizard and if Filipino people turned into a genre of music, it would be something close to R&B. So I'm going to go say Filipino. I'm going to say Filipino.
Well, you convinced me as soon as you said wizard, so let's keep going.
Okay, then we have Stephanie. I don't know how to pronounce this last name.
Kelleher.
Kelliher. Oh, this just might be like a regular ass white person.
Oh, this could be one of these new CBS Asians that we've been
Asians, yes.
We've been accumulating. And by CBS
Absolutely.
Asian, I mean actually a 50-year-old woman named Stephanie who's living her best life. In
like Illinois or something.
In Illinois,
we did get an email or like a message from somebody that's like, hey, I just saw you on CBS and I really appreciate your content. I'm giving you money or something like that. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. This
might be this person. I don't know.
I love it.
I love it. Well, thanks, Steph. Can I call you that? And hey, let me mow your lawn for $20.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll see you at the barbecue. Yep.
And last but not least, we have Sway Zee.
See, that's why I think this person is a Filipino person, because Swayze, this sounds like, what? Swayze is this person's a rapper, a DJ, a seamstress, a cosplayer, a breakdancer, poet.
Swayze.
Yo.
Can you imagine if Swayze was like, I do data entry at Google? Like if you said such a boring job.
But the swaggiest data entry you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just putting X lookup everywhere, baby.
I love it.
I just learned about that.
Well, thank you guys so much for your money. You are Filipino, we're guessing. And let us know if we got it wrong or right. But don't get mad because this is a really hard game to play. Moving on to Story of the Week. We always like to play this. We always ask each other what kind of Asian we were this week to try and help people define what it means to be Asian American. So, Mike, what kind of Asian were you this week, you little fucking forgetful hoe?
I love it when a forgetful hoe is like someone who forgets to play with the balls. You know what I'm saying? Is that what a forgetful hoe? That's someone like me.
Yeah.
I forgot to.
Yeah, you're giving head. And I'm
blowing, and I forgot about the balls. That's forgetful hoe. No, I'm gonna even upgrade this. I am a I'm a annoyed Asian. I'm annoyed at myself for doing this.
Okay.
Because this is on me. I hate.
So what happened?
So we reached out to a guest and we booked this person on DM. Okay, and this is not this guest's fault in any way. Okay, this is all on us. But we had booked this person a while ago. Then this person had to move the dates. Totally cool. That was fine. And we booked this person, and this is all on DM on Instagram. And I forgot. This is what the problem with having so many different channels is that I forgot to transfer this booking. This happened on DM, got the email of this person, and then I forgot to follow through with the guest. So usually what we do is we get this, we send out an email, we send out links, we got all the Zoom stuff, we have all the links for news if we're going to talk about news, we have a Dropbox links and everything like that. It's super organized. So I forgot to transfer this over from the email. So this is why it was fucked up, is because I was responsible for this instead of our producer, who's always on the ball. And the producer sends over an email with a confirmation, making sure this person's available still, links, any links for news, the Zoom link that we're going to use, all the stuff is all set and sent away. I didn't do that. I also went away on Thursday and Friday. So like I wasn't even like in the headspace for this. Again, that's my own thing. So I was an annoyed Asian, annoyed at myself because I am trying to get all of this shit together. And I was even ahead of the game because I was like putting to the outline for the episode together, getting all ready. And then I was like, it's like you're gonna get a big dinner together and you forget to invite the people to dinner. And you're just like, why am I sitting here by myself with this
roasted chicken?
With this roasted chicken. And I made the nice fluffy rice using the sushi setting, and nobody's here to eat it. And that's the kind of Asian I am. I will say, I don't want to, this is totally my fault, but I have been sort of feeling that like, this is part of it is I can never turn off. I feel this especially since the pandemic, because I never feel I can never like really walk away. Do you know what I'm saying? I always feel like I need to. There's always something I should be doing. Do you know? Like there's always
regarding the podcast or regarding life.
Hey, you know what? The podcast is life. Okay.
Wow.
It's true, right? If we can never, if one of us left for like 2 weeks, this whole thing would just implode on itself, and we would just be back to nothing. So like, there's always something. Whether it's the podcast, whether it's other comedy stuff, whether it's my job or whatever, I can't, and I feel with the pandemic, you can't like, you used to be able to like kind of leave and then that was okay. But now like everybody's kind of always on, and it's fucking with my head.
Damn.
So I knew when I was chilling.
Yeah. We sent the guest the date and everything like that. But we were sitting there at 12:30 and I was like, Mike, did you send her the link? And you were like, no. It was a disaster. But hey, it's all good. It happens sometimes. Again, this is why we need to donate on our Patreon so we can hire another producer to do all this shit for us. Because we are forgetful Asians.
We need more.
It's so funny because I was literally like, when you're doing a live show soon and like a live podcast soon without me, and you're like walking me through the outline, and I was like really proud of you. I was like, oh, I can't believe like you took the time to put this together. Like this is good. You're committed, and I was like a proud parent, And then you hit me with this bullshit.
Yeah,
okay?
buddy.
You're grounded.
I'm grounded, baby.
You're grounded.
I'm grounded.
Man. Yeah.
What kind of Asian were you this week?
This week I was all-American Asian, and all-American Asian. Here's what I mean by that. Okay. I feel like, but what I mean by all-American Asian is like the house with the white picket fence, the golden retriever, the swing set hanging from your big ass oak tree in your front yard that you got. Okay, that's like the all-American image. Now, whether that's problematic or not, that's not what I'm about to get into, but we can all admit that's nice to have. We all like nice things. And I feel like for a long time when I lived in New York, doing stand-up and working and all this stuff and trying to like make it as a comedian, there was a specific type of sort of, there was like a way to be a creative person in New York, right? It's like if you're a comedian, you always have a backpack on, and you're always renting cars, and you're doing college gigs, and like you're up until 12, and you're drinking with your friends, and you shit on other comics, and like you're just this grizzled guy traversing through New York City from 6 p.m. to midnight every night. That's the way you gotta live. And sure, that can be romanticized. And when I was younger, that was really cool. But as I got older, I started to question, though I loved comedy, I started to question like, is this like how it's gonna be until I'm like 45? I mean, like my back hurts and shit. Like it'd be nice to have it'd be nice to be on that swing set, and and for the first, I moved to LA and I have like a comedy job, and I'm like meeting other writers, right? Other writers who didn't do this thing I just described, who were not stand-up comedians, they're just writers, and all of them, like in the office, they all like referred to their partners by their first name, like as if they all like kind of know each other. Like, oh, Brandon did this, my Phil did this. Like they won't say my girlfriend, my husband. They just say their names, and they invite each other to like little like brunches on the weekends. Some of the wives are friends, and they go on trips. Yeah, and like they're doing like financially well because writers make a decent amount of money, and like I just for the first time in my life, I was like, oh, can I achieve this all-American thing through dick jokes? Can I get a white picket fence because in New York nobody tells you that that's possible. Nobody even believes it's possible. And you step out of New York and you're like, no. It feels very suburban to me. This is what I imagined what it's like to work at an office if you worked at like a Verizon Wireless in Columbus, Ohio. You know, like, hey, how's it going, Tim? Blah blah blah. You know, I'm not saying my coworkers are lame. They're so fucking funny and so creative and they're fucking geniuses. But I realize is you can be a fucking genius and still enjoy a little water cool talk. You know? You can do both. And there is nothing wrong with that. And I just, in New York, you're just so obsessed with your image and like, this is what you gotta do. And you gotta wear this leather jacket and you gotta go to Mood Ring and Bushwick and drink this cocktail if you're, be bi-coastal, like all this shit. You know? And I, for the first time in my life, I'm like 31 now, I'm just like, fuck all that. Like, you can just have it all if you really wanted to. Or you could just have this one, like, you know, like there's really no... there are no rules, and it took me so long to just even. I'm not saying that I'm gonna get to that level, but to swallow the possibility that could happen to me. To be the possibility that like one could be happy with a home and a family, and do this, you know, like a regular job. Because I feel like in New York. And maybe we do this to ourselves. We're just like, no, you can never have all those things if you're an artist. You can never do this if you're a performer. Wrong. I'm telling you, you are wrong. I'm seeing so many people with all these things that my friends have in the suburbs here in LA doing work that I want to be doing and having the things that my suburban Ohio friends have, you know? So I just, you know, that's what I meant by all-American Asian.
I think you hit it right on the head as far as there is something about New York, which is, and it's in some ways we have to admit, like it's kind of seductive to think about like, I'm the artist that's really starving and struggling. And I'm, you know, like what, you know, in the scene, especially, who do we sort of hold up as like being the ultimate stand-up, right? The person who does like 20 shows a week, doesn't have a life, is like fucking stealing sandwiches all the time because this person doesn't have a job because they don't, you know what I'm saying? They only do comedy. They are disheveled as shit. They look like crap. You know, we always think that person's like, you know what we always say? That person's grinding. That person's getting it, right? And you know, the values of the scene is this person must be trying the hardest because they're suffering the most, and therefore they're gonna get it. But if you think about all the people who really are like making something of themselves, you know, we've been in this game for a minute. Who are the people who are making something of themselves? They don't have that lifestyle, actually. You know, they work with other kind of creative people. They take care of themselves. You know, they get out there. They try new things. They're not always they're working hard, but they're not just hitting their head on the wall and saying that's work. You know what I'm saying? But there's something about New York where, you know, if you don't do it this way, you're fake. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, on the one hand, it's like, it's really cool because you end up having you can get really skilled at hitting your head on the wall. You can get really, You're like, dude, yo, you want to see some brain damage? Boom!
He's the best in the game.
I got the best concussions.
Dude,
but
you're so right about the. You know what I think of? This reminded me of. You ever read the Bible, bro? You ever read the fucking Bible?
Dude, I love the Bible.
Okay, I don't really read it, but I had to read a little bit in college. And I remember, like, I don't remember anything from college, but the most interesting class I took in college was like this, like, something about Western civilization, or we had to read the Bible or whatever. And there's this concept in the Bible of like the false prophet, right?
Oh yeah, dude. Or, hell yeah.
Or like a false religious figure. I don't remember what tribe did this, but like someone erected like a bull or something. Like, this is the God now, and God's like, fuck that shit and whatever. He didn't say that.
He didn't say that.
You know. But that's what it feels like. It's like I moved out of New York, and I'm like, that God. You guys are worshiping the wrong God. You know, that God stealing sandwiches, doing 30 shows a night, and like he's 45, but he's like obviously the funniest, but like, you know, living on a couch. That's a false prophet, bro.
That's not the way to do it, dude. I mean, you know, I think too, like I've said this on the podcast before, like if you know, there's an adage that's like, if you want something bad enough, you can do it. But really, that's kind of like a mind trick, because if you want something bad enough, someone will exploit you. That is like really where I think, because that's where you get clubs, and not all clubs are like this. There are clubs that are better than others, and I think there's other things in the scene. But if somebody's like, you want it this bad, you want it that bad, do it for free for me.
Yes,
and I get to exploit you, and that happens all the time.
yeah,
you know what I'm
absolutely.
saying?
That's so many famous people say that. You know, that's a Bill Burr quote. You know?
Oh shit!
Whoever wants it the most gets it. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure other people in non-common industries have said something similar. Hustle. But you're right. Hustling is a two-sided coin.
No,
you know, the other side is like,
yeah.
Another person who's smarter will be like, oh, he's willing to do it's like the fucking MILF porn scene, but it's your life. You know, you have to. It's terrible. It's
there
terrible.
you go.
That's genius, man.
That's there you
but
go.
Anyways,
and we've now related it back to MILF porn, which is how you know you're listening to Asian Not Asian.
Oh God! By the way, Anos, we love you, man. Thanks for. I know we had a guest plan. We're sorry it fell through, but we love you and thanks for being here.
You know, we were going to talk about this with the guest because our guest is a very creative person. But I feel like, you know, you're out in LA. I'm still in New York, and in New York, there's like a certain way to be a creative person, like you said, wearing backpacks. You know,
yeah.
I don't know what it is. You're not a creative
Something
person
about the
here.
back. There's nothing in the backpack. By the way, there's nothing in there.
Oh no, there is. It's the shorts that zip into pants. The pants are in your short. The pant part are in the backpack. That's what you're carrying around, and I'm making fun of myself because I have stuff like that, and I'll do that. But you know, that's what's in there. It's not like, you know, a book about business or something. It's something useless. Yeah. So but you know, I was gonna say, does it feel like being a creative ass person in LA is different from being a creative ass person in New York? Because I feel in creative ass person in New York is like, you know, we were saying the hustler grinder person, but it also means like a specialist, like someone who, like here especially, it's like you only do stand up, and occasionally you might write a funny tweet, you know. Yeah. But I feel in LA, it's like, yo, I do all sorts of crazy shit. I grow these special tomatoes, and I'm also a bartender, mixologist, but also I'm an actor and a director and a DJ. You know, does that feel like that?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference is, first of all, a lot of multi-hyphenates out here. You know, a lot of that. I think the biggest difference. This is not the right analogy, but I feel just go with me on this. New York is European Soccer League, and LA is MLS. Okay, as in like, wow, like you guys are the fucking best. You know, there's 16-year-olds who can make a goal from 100 yards away, but I'm making more money than you over here, doing the same thing, right? And I don't know what the salary is, so maybe that analogy is wrong. But I'm thinking of the David Beckham story where he just sold out and came to play for the LA Galaxy and makes a lot of money now, right? Yeah. So like, I'm using that as an analogy. So it's like, you guys are in it for like the craft, and hey, it is so important to learn that. So everybody should go to New York at one point and get fucking good, dude. You will get good, but at some point, like, you know, you want a dog. And you know what I mean? Like, I want a dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want a car, and like, and I think you can take those things you learned and bring it here. And people here are about money. That's really what it is, right? That's why they're multi-hyphenate, because every hyphenate is another revenue stream. Is podcaster, writer, stand-up, dog walker, whatever, you know?
That's why I'm always seeing on TikTok like those like financial advice TikToks where it's like, have multiple revenue streams. You know what I'm saying? You're a hairdresser, but you also fix up cars, and you also, you know what I'm saying, you have an Amazon web store where you sell diapers. You know what I'm saying? Like, all sorts of shit. By the way,
on a side note of that, what do you think about that thing? Because I think it was like some Instagram post or like a tweet I read about how
we're getting into it
today, when people go multiple revenue streams, you know, you gotta have a podcast, diversify your revenue streams. What they're really saying is, it's not enough money to have one job. Yeah. And so it was like, what happened to the America where you're like, I work at Ford.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
all I do because all my needs are met through Ford. It's like, Mike, you work for an advertising company and you have this podcast and you freelance other shit. you do other writing shit just to make a couple bucks. You know,
just to make a couple bucks. Like I'm an immigrant. Please, sir. Please, I need to have a family to raise. I'm gonna write some tweets for your brand.
At one point, you were doing anything for money that I wouldn't have been surprised if one time I just saw you at a deli making sandwiches or something.
Yo,
I just do this on Sundays. I do this on Sundays to make $7 an hour.
Dude, do you not understand that I have thought about that? I will sometimes, to this day, I will sometimes walk by a McDonald's and I'll see like, oh, we're hiring. It's $18 an hour. I'm like,
It's not bad.
Maybe, I got a couple hours here and there. If they're flexible and they're nice people, hey, plus I get free sandwiches. Yes, I agree with you. I also think it's funny. Can you imagine if like the Ford Motor worker, for Ford Motor Company assembly person also had a side hustle on TikTok? You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's going on? It's Jeremiah here. Just on the line here. Shout out to all my Ford heads. Okay, here we are putting the manifold together. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just a ridiculous concept for that person. But that's it. That is like the sad reality of this millennial thing.
The gig economy, they call it, right?
The gig economy. And then like the whole, the hustle thing, I think, is especially strong on the two coasts. But I mean, I think it's strong everywhere. But it is kind of like, it's like, I had a tweet, or I saw this thing go around where it was like, millennials are doubling their income by secretly having 2 jobs. And I saw this on like Business Insider.
Is that an Onion? Oh,
no.
That's like an Onion headline.
No. And I was like, what is amazing about that? Here's an amazing headline. A guy makes double the money by having double the work.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do they call, I don't know why they think of millennials and Gen Z people as being lazy, because we have more jobs in 6 months than most people do in their whole life. Yeah. And so I don't even know how we got here. So yeah, I think that, having a lot of hyphenates is like, it is about the game. It's about having that money. And I think we were just talking about this just now about, comedians who are real funny. And I always think about this. Aziz, I'm not supposed to say his name. Aziz is
no, you can, it's fine.
He always says like, just be undeniable, right? Mm-hmm. Dude, do you know how many people I know who are undeniable? I think, honestly, I think there are so many people who are, I've seen sets of people. We had Hack City. We had, we had all these comedians up. We had Jason Choi, we had Alex Kim. We had Jared Goldstein. Each one of their sets was like, you could have started a car with their set. The energy from their set. It was so good. But that's not enough at all. That's not, and it's not even like the same thing. The economy of anything is how much is someone willing to pay you for that thing. That's how much something is worth. I know that sounds stupid, but that really is it. What makes NFTs? What makes an NFT worth money? It's that somebody's willing to pay for it. So how do you convert your creativity into money and like fit yourself into capitalism? That's the game, right? And so that's why there's multi-hyphenates who have like all
Can
these
you
things.
imagine if you're like a talent agent said that to you? It's like, where do you fit within the capitalism framework? But that's really what they should be saying. That is what they're saying.
How do you fit
when they say what's your brand, they're literally asking you where you fit within the capitalism hierarchy,
exactly,
or whatever.
How do you convert? Like, you and I, we've been, from like 2016 to 2019, you and I met every single weekend at a coffee shop in Bed-Stuy, and it's the same thing. We were just like shoot the shit and write jokes and be stupid, and we turned that into money by having a podcast with a Patreon. We just put a mic in front of us. We just put a mic in front of us, and then we get this Patreon going, and it's not like we were doing anything different.
Right.
If anything, we're worse. We're stupider. We've gotten worse at this. So I think it's this weird thing that I think you're seeing it now when you're out there, and I think for a lot of people who listen to our show, always like, oh, I want to be a creative person, and whatever, and that's totally cool. But like, you have to always think of like, how do I turn creativity into capitalism? And that's like a really fucked up thing to say, but it's true. Like, how do you because that's and sometimes artists hate on people, sometimes fairly, that there's an artist who's really cheesy and it's really bad,
Yeah.
but like sells
Yeah.
a lot of records or sells a lot of art or whatever the fuck it is.
Sure.
Because they found their like niche, they found their little art, their little thing. You know what I'm saying? Like rich white people in Santa Barbara love pictures of seahorses. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you get on that seahorse painting game, you're gonna make money. Now, is that gonna be good art? I don't know, but there's a lot of good artists who don't make any kind of money because nobody's trying to pay for like a 3D film of someone's pubes. You know what I'm saying? Like that's art.
Right.
No one. That market is very small. So think about that.
Those are my pubes, by the way.
Yeah, they really are, and they're available on NFT.
So speaking of trying to figure out where we fit within the capitalistic framework. This podcast is so. You know what I like about fucking our thing is like, sure, we want to be funny, but we both like. I don't know if it's because we're Asian or if we like went to college or at one point we had a real job, but like, we're always thinking business, bro. We love words like capitalism and ROI. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like other comedians don't do that. So speaking of, sellouts. Well, that's not a good way to intro these people. I don't really know how to. So hey, we're here to goss, okay? Because it's just your aunties tonight. It's just your aunties. We're just two messy bitches gossiping, drinking wine.
Yep.
I think that the podcast world, it can be hard to kind of stand out, especially within the Asian podcast world too, because there's a lot of you guys now. Hey, we definitely weren't the first ones, but I remember when we first started, there was nobody fucking else. It was us, some BBC radio show, and one about like Asian horror stories. Remember that one?
Oh, like Asian.
I don't remember the name.
Yeah, it was like Asian Madness Project.
Yeah. And then it was us, and now there's so
more.
many.
There's a lot more. Yeah,
that's more. And so, hey, here's a little goss for you. What we do sometimes, because we are insecure little Asian
I do
boys,
this all the time. Yes.
We read reviews of other podcasts to see if people are talking shit.
Oh my God, I'm always doing
this
that.
This week we found some shit talking.
Wow.
Not on our podcast though. Not like a different podcast. Another podcast that's very popular. And it's not Feeling Asian, by the way. So fucking get off our dicks.
Yeah.
We love those guys. Do you want to say their name? How do we do this?
I don't know. Let's try not to.
Okay.
It's another podcast.
There's a podcast. They're probably the biggest size-wise compared to all the other ones you may listen to. And they
started around the same time as us, maybe a little bit before.
A little bit before us, but they really blew up because they're really good at like the social media game. Also, doesn't not help that one of them is like sort of connected to like sort of a celebrity, if you will. I don't know if that's the right word, but like an influencer.
Well, definitely, and I think too connected to kind of like the Asian creative SoCal scene.
Yeah,
for sure.
And they were huge, and we always, for a while we were like trying to copy what they're doing because we're like, how do we get good at social media? So we kind of looked up to them and stuff. And so I was like, kind of just like, the reviews are always like really good, and I just sometimes I read reviews just to remind myself how different we all are, because the reviews that I read on some of these other podcasts, I'm like, no one would ever say that about our podcast, even if it's good. You know what I mean? Like nobody's talking about backlit pubes. We're the only ones. That's our shit. That's our NFT.
I remember when we were just starting off on the road of doing this, and you'd always be like, oh my gosh, this other podcast is killing it, blah blah blah. And I was like, dude, they are so different from us that you can't even compare, because they're doing a thing where it's like they're trying to do like an aspirational thing.
Lifestyle shit.
And it's totally working because I want to be like them. I want their lifestyle. They looks like they have a sweet lifestyle, and they have a whole thing. You don't want to have, remember you and I, we used to have a Patreon tier thing where it was like, hey, we're going to do behind the scenes of us going to comedy shows.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And actually, I kind of like doing it, but I realized I was like, this is sad. It's like me standing outside of a comedy club going, well, it's 9:30 p.m. I just left my wife and she was really upset about it, and it's cold and rainy, and I got to go inside, and I think somebody in there has COVID. I was like, this is not aspirational.
We're not aspirational.
The most
We're not
aspirational part was I took an Uber home. You know, that was like the most aspirational part.
Actually, I would like to ask the listeners, what is it that you like about us? You know, sure, maybe you think we're funny, but like, what is like, is if you could just use one word, because I do think there's a lot, and it's not this podcast we're talking about. They're like a lifestyle podcast. I think their point is like, you want to be like us. We're young, we're hot, we got hot boyfriends, we have a cool job, right? These are things that
cool.
young Asian American women might want, and that totally makes sense. But I'm here with you. We're fucking forgetting to book guests. We're fucking calling ourselves messy bitches. You know, we're like not even in the same city anymore. I'm like, what? Like, if you could just summarize it in one word, what is it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what is it? So DM us, let us know, because that'll make us feel better, I think.
We really have low self-esteem.
We do. That's our vibe. Low self-esteem.
Yeah, low self-esteem. But
should we read these reviews? How should we take this?
I don't know. I don't think we should. I think we should just summarize.
Okay, we should summarize.
But
so they were popping for a while, and recently, so like the reviews are typically good, but recently they've been getting like a lot of negative reviews, and I'm like, what's going on? Because they were so popular, you know? Like, how could people turn on them so quickly like that? And we're not going to read the reviews, but a lot of the reviews, if you summarize it, it's kind of like, used to love, not anymore. It's kind of the same old thing. You know, it's kind of boring now. You know, it's like, I don't know if that I care so much about their lives anymore. We're trying to goss on a public platform. This is dicey.
It's okay. What I will say is that I feel sometimes people, I'll make it about Asian American podcasts in general.
Yeah.
Is that, and I've said this on the show before, as far as like when it comes to Asian American content, not Asian content. Okay, that's different. I'm not talking about BTS. Okay, I'm not talking about like a movie that comes out in China. Okay, that's different shit. I'm talking about Asian American stuff. Is that Asian American stuff has to do everything, right? The people who consume Asian American stuff, because there's so little of it, it has to do every single thing. So your podcast has to touch upon all these topics. It has to represent the community. It has to say all these positive things. It has to be like, you know, whatever, be supportive, and it has to be funny sometimes. And also, you know, like it has to do all these things, you know, and like show you like all these like cool stuff, all this cool stuff that you've never heard about, and all this representation. And you know, hey, we try to do all those things, but that's a lot of work. For one, of course, for any person, for any creator. And other podcasts, you know, when you listen to a white person's podcast and it's a comedy podcast, they just get to talk about comedy. They just get to be funny. Or if they have there's a podcast and it's about dating, they just get to talk about dating. They don't also, and there's so many dating podcasts, and this is what's fun about them, is that where they get to be messy and like not perfect and not have good opinions sometimes, quote unquote good opinions. Because it's just a dating podcast. You can do that. But if there was an Asian dating podcast, Asian American dating podcast, I think you'd have to get all the Asians together, and you'd have to have all the, you know, right representation, and you have to represent everybody in the right way and in the right light, and you couldn't have anyone be messy, and you know what I'm saying, because you're representing the community and also you are doing a dating podcast. So like. It's a higher
different standards for sure, and it sucks because I think in those moments where you get messy, that's where like the uniqueness comes from.
I agree.
I'm not saying go out there and be problematic, but like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we're getting a little bit better, but I think, you know, one of the fucking reviews is like, we need more Southeast Asians on this, 3 stars, you know, and it's like that's an example of what you're just talking about. It's like, well, I don't know, like these are 3 Southeast Asian women doing their thing. Like, do they have to have that? I don't know. Like, but but there is a consumer out there who listens and is upset that his needs aren't being met. Rather than going to a different channel, he's like, no, they said they're Asian, so they must do these 5,000 things on this list, or else you can't be here.
When you were a kid, did you ever have that thing where you could get a personal pizza if you did a lot of reading?
Oh my God, I remember those. Like, completely. How do you? You're such a nerd for remembering that.
Yo,
that's thanks for reviving that memory. That's a nice one.
Yeah, I'm tickling these neurons, baby. Okay. You know what? How many books I read? You know how much Amelia Bedelia I read? Okay, in order to get that personal pan pizza, because I was all about rewards, baby.
And that's why if you like rewards, you gotta try Quip. The Quip Smart Brush for adults and kids connects to the Quip app with Bluetooth. Track when and how well you brush. Get tips and coaching to improve your habits. Earn points for daily brushing and bonus points for completing challenges.
If you already have Quip, you can upgrade it with a smart motor and keep the features you know and love, such as sensitive sonic vibrations, 2-minute timer with 30-second pulses for a good clean. It's slim, lightweight, sleek. It's very, very sexy.
Beyond the brush, Quip has everything you need to build a complete routine. Mint or watermelon toothpaste with anti-cavity ingredients for strong, healthy teeth. That's what you got to have for hot fact summer, baby. People are looking at teeth now. Teeth is in right now. It used to be butts. Now it's teeth.
Now it's teeth.
Join over 5 million mouths who use Quip and save hundreds compared to other Bluetooth brushes when you get a Quip Smart Brush for just $45.
Start getting rewards for brushing your teeth today. Go to getquip.com/Asian right now to save $10 on a Quip Smart Electric Toothbrush.
That's $10 off a smart electric toothbrush at getquip.com/Asian.
Spelled GETQUIP.com/Asian.
Quip, the good habits company.
Oh man, what's that? What are you drinking there, buddy? What are you drinking? It looks dank.
Bro, this right here is Sanzo, which is the first Asian-inspired sparkling water. Their
Whoa.
drinks use real fruit like calamansi, lychee, and Alfonso mango to deliver a refreshing taste. No added sugars, artificial, or natural flavors. Sanzo's mission, if you're wondering, is to bridge cultures by connecting people with these authentic flavors.
Yo, I've been hearing about the Sanzo shit, man. It sounds real good. They use real fruit puree, no added sugar, completely flavored and gently sweetened by real fruit. And that means the flavors have less than 20 calories and less than 4 grams of sugar. So it's real low sugar, bro.
This is in. If you're not drinking Sanzo, you're not cool right now.
You're not cool. You're not cool. They got all sorts of really good flavors like lychee, mango, calamansi. I just learned what calamansi is. It's this delicious, the golden lime from the Philippines. And
Oh
that
my
is
God.
not made up. That's real stuff, man.
Sanzo recently teamed up with the Marvel Studios to celebrate the release of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings with limited edition lychee collection featuring characters from the film. Simu Liu as Shang-Chi, Awkwafina as Katie, Manger Zhang as Xialing, and Tony Luong as Wenwu. I apologize if I mispronounce any of those names. It's not that I don't know who you are. It's just that Simu Liu's abs are way too hot and I'm getting distracted. 5% of all sales will be donated to CAPE, Coalition of Asian Pacifics in Entertainment, an organization dedicated to advancing Asian American and Pacific Islander representation in the entertainment industry.
For 10% off your order of Sanzo sparkling water, visit drinksanzo.com and enter code Asian Not Asian at checkout. That's drink SANZO.com and enter code Asian Not Asian. Again, because there's so little breakthrough, like representation breakthrough, that any one of these platforms, you know, whether it's a podcast or a TV show, you know, it has to get, you know, it's like there's finally one lifeboat on the sinking ship, and now you got to get everybody on that ship. You know what I'm saying? I'm real excited about Cowboy Bebop that's coming out. Like it looks really good.
He looks so fucking tight. Is this John Cho?
John Cho, and I'm so excited about and I saw this whole thing about you know, John Cho's is gonna be in it. And then I read a couple things, and I don't think they mean it in a bad way, but they're like, oh, we should have gotten Steven Yeun on there. And I was like, let John Cho do his thing, you know? Like, but that's what I'm saying is like, and again, nobody's coming for John Cho. Everybody likes John Cho too, but Steven Yeun's like the hot thing now too, right? And I'm sure Steven Yeun will do a great job at this. But that's what I'm saying is like, there's so little opportunity, is that like literally there's only a few slots and we're only, you know, like we're only given so much room, you know, versus
it's the scarcity mentality.
It's so scarce.
I get that.
Yeah. So,
for sure. I think like a lot of the, of course, you know, we can mess up sometimes and people may not like what we say, but a lot of the negative stuff that people put towards Asian creators and creations simply comes out of what you just said, the scarcity mentality of like, it's just not checking all the boxes for me, you know,
right.
Regardless of the quality of the content, just like, it's just not, you didn't check off these things.
So I mean,
that's also like, I don't know, with Steven Yeun, and it's like, dude, first of all, John Cho walked so Steven can run.
Whoa,
right? So,
yo.
like, fucking
Oh my God.
chill. Fucking chill. And by walk, I mean, like, doing that movie in the 90s that you always refer to that I don't know what you're talking about. Better Luck Tomorrow. Whatever.
Oh, yeah,
like,
there you go.
When nobody was doing it, he was doing it, right?
doing
And
his
it must have
thing.
been hard because that movie I don't think did very well, and probably the reason why most people don't even know about it. You know, like Steven, of course, is great. He got to come in and do all the cool culturally zeitgeisty things. He got to have all that,
Yeah.
because of people like John Cho. You know, so I think it's, you know. Also, John Cho's hair is more like the main character Spike. I think he's got like poofy Asian hair.
Steven, he does have poofy.
Steven has straight hair, and I just cannot have that energy right now.
You know, I do think this is kind of an aside, but you know what? There's only us two, so why not? I think we should have a thing. We should have a talk somehow about Asian hair, because
yes,
it's so. I've always had this thing. I swear to God, last night I had a dream that I had great hair, and I was so happy. I dreamt I had like hair like John Cho. I dreamt I had like John Cho hair, where it was like great hairline, just like really full and like straight, but like, you know, not just sticking out.
Yeah.
And I was so like excited. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what is going on in my mind?
This is so sad.
I'm like a 30-something-year-old comedian, and I'm dreaming about John Cho hair. But
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
a thing, and like no one Asian people, we don't ever get to talk about that. So that's what you should be. That's why you're on the people that should be listening to this show, because we talk about Asian hair.
That's so funny, man. Asian hair is a whole fucking thing we get into.
It's
I
a
used
whole
to be
fucking thing.
So it's only until I didn't really start to embrace and like my hair until like recently. You know, I used to hate it.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in high school, I would be self-conscious about how often I needed to get it cut, because my friends, my white friends would be like, I don't know, I go every like 3 months or something, because their hair grows straight, right? Mine grows this way, like to the side, so like I couldn't not cut it for 3 months, and I would like lie about how often I'd get it cut, because I thought it wasn't okay.
Whoa.
You know, not even the style, but just like, oh no, I'm doing it too much. Like, you're not supposed to get it cut that much. Now, like, I moved to New York. I meet all these Italian people who are like, no, I get it like, trimmed every week.
All trimmed
I go
all the time.
every Friday. I get
edged out. Yeah.
That's sort of like my vibe now. I go like a lot, but like, yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. That's like, it's very, Asian hair is a very like touchy subject for me, man.
Dude, I mean, for me, you know, it's to the point where I just deleted the problem. I just shaved my head.
Yeah.
I just shaved my head. I don't even have, you know what I'm saying? I actually realize I'm not actually balding. I have a very high hairline.
Yeah.
I've always had that. Even I was the weirdest looking headed kid you'd ever saw in 4th grade. I was this kid, there's a 4th grader with a high ass forehead. That was me. But for me, I'm just so frustrated with it. I just actually just get rid of it. And it's just,
you know what you should
it's
do?
honestly easier.
Maybe if we get to a certain Patreon number, you should just grow it out again.
Yo, I'll do that.
Would you? How could it get to like me, like my length? This is pretty short for me.
No, I used to have like straight up long hair.
I know, but it was curly, wasn't it?
Wavy.
Wasn't your hair like
it's wavy?
Like
yeah.
Rick James, like Rick James bitch wig vibes.
You know who it looks like? Okay, you ever seen the first Mortal Kombat? Okay, you ever seen the first one with Liu Kang? Okay.
No, I'm gonna Google him though. Tell me his name.
What's the actor's name? Liu Kang.
Liu
Kang, and Mortal Kombat from 1995. Okay, the guy's name is Robin Chu. It's like his hair in that movie. It's like slightly wavy. That's really like my hair.
Oh, really?
My boy,
This
yeah.
is like this is like This is like a little bit like K-pop style.
Kinda.
I feel like this is in right now.
You know, it's wavy. I have wavy hair.
I thought your hair was more like Larry David, like just curly on the sides.
It's not like a tight curl, but it is wavy. But I never knew what to do with it. I honestly thought for a while, I was like, I should just try to grow my hair out like Liu Kang here, my boy Liu Kang.
I don't know. I don't know why you didn't over the pandemic. I think that would have been like a fun little. You could have gone viral. We could have been famous by now. I think if you had just done it. Well, you know me, Mike. You know me, right?
I know.
You know.
I know.
If you know
Dude.
this, if you know anything about me, you know that I'm out there.
Yes.
I'm out there.
You're out there.
I'm out there pounding. And a lot of people are like, Fumi, why are you so good at pounding? And by a lot of people,
Yeah. I always ask that. I don't even believe you.
By a lot of people, I just mean Mike. The secret is, it is Helix Sleep Mattress. Helix Sleep has a quiz that takes just 2 minutes to complete and matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. Why would you buy a mattress made for someone else? With Helix, you're getting a mattress that you know will be perfect for the way you sleep and pounding.
Everybody's unique and pounds uniquely, and Helix knows that. So they have several different mattress models to choose from. They have soft, medium, and firm. Wink, wink. Mattresses. Mattresses great for cooling you down if you get hot, and even a Helix Plus mattress for plus size sleepers. Because hey, man, everybody needs love.
Just go to helixsleep.com/Asian. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you to the customized mattress that will give you the best sleep/pound of your life.
They have a 10-year warranty, and you get to try it out for free for 100 nights, risk-free. They'll even pick it up for you if you don't love it, but you will.
Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helix.com/Asian.
That's helix.com/Asian for up to $200 off. And when you're doing your threesomes, 2 free pillows.
Now back to this. Tushy, the modern bidet company, washes away even the messiest of poopies, leaving you with a better clean than toilet paper.
Is your butt clean enough to sit on the couch naked? No.
What?
Whoa. Whoa.
What kind of question is that?
That is intense. You don't sleep and sit on your couch naked? I do all the time. So if it's not, can get a Tushy, the modern bidet that attaches directly to your toilet in under 10 minutes.
If you got poop on any other part of your body, would you just wipe it off, right? No, you'd wash it. Stop wiping it and start washing with Tushy, the modern bidet that attaches directly to your toilet.
Yo, Tushy is so good. It's been so hot and sticky, and you know what? If you know what swamp butt is in New York City, yo, the bidet, this Tushy will take care of that. Just sit on there, splish splash, you're all fresh, baby.
That's so nice because the alternative is to just like stand awkwardly in your office and shove a piece of toilet paper up there and like let it absorb, and then you're just like, if anyone saw me do this, I'd get fired immediately. So I would prefer a nice refreshing water on my butt.
Right, there you go. Tushy is the modern bidet for people who poop. Just poop, wash, and pat dry.
It washes your bum with water for a better clean than toilet paper. Washing with water is less irritating and more soothing for your bee-hole, if you didn't know that already.
Tushy has a full product line to help make the restroom the best room, including a Tushy ottoman and a Tushy brush.
They got a Tushy ottoman?
Yeah, baby.
That's so much. There's a lot going on. Start washing with a Tushy bidet for a better clean. Go to hellotushy.com/ANA to get 10% off plus free shipping.
This is a special offer for our listeners at hellotushy.com/ANA for 10% off.
After you buy and install your Tushy, show it off. Tag us at hellotushy on Instagram and let your friends know what's going on with your butt.
So I think, I think we have a little thing here is that, hey man, come on. Take it easy on the Asian podcast. There's only a few of us, and we're trying our best, and we're trying to do a lot of things, and we can't do it all. Can't do it all, baby.
We can't do it all. Yeah, we can't do it
all. That's all I mean. You know?
I would encourage any like angry Asian media consumers, if you don't like something, just shut your laptop and just like, you don't have to say something. Actually, when I did my Colbert, like, speaking of like the scarcity mentality, what I was really afraid of on my Colbert tape that's now on YouTube, please check it out, Google Fumi Abe on YouTube, was I thought I would get a lot of Asian haters.
Yes.
And I say that I don't care, but I totally do care.
Oh yeah. And, I mean, okay, go ahead. I want to hear. What do you mean by Asian haters?
Just like he's misrepresenting us, like he's not funny, like the Asian comics. Not from white people, from Asian people.
Asian people. Yeah.
From Asian people.
I mean,
and I got like a few, but it wasn't like it wasn't like a lot, which I was happy with.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, as much as we are kind of defending Asian creators, which is totally our thing, like I do think the Asian American audience has gotten to the point where it's like, you don't always have to be. I think they're starting to realize, hey, we got to give Asian people just a little time to breathe, because I remember for a while when things would come out in the 90s or whatever, Asian people wouldn't be sure if they wanted to see that or not, or if it wasn't representing people in the right way, and I was guilty of that too. And even now, I think I've told you when I do a comedy show, this happened to me in the last Hack City. I did a show, I did my thing, and then I'll get off and I'll be standing around, and a Vietnamese dude will come up to me and go, I wasn't sure if you're gonna be funny. But you did us proud, and I was like, okay, good. I think because it looks like the guy was gonna beat me up because Vietnamese dudes in America, we look like if the Buddha did steroids, just like just jacked out, just Asian dude. And so I was like, okay, thanks, because we do have that. I mean, I would be like that too if I saw a Vietnamese comedian. I would be like, okay, this guy better, is this guy gonna be funny? Because he kind of represents the whole fucking country at this point. So yeah. I do, hey, just be cool, man. Okay, we're gonna keep going with our messy goss episode.
Goss episode. We gotta do this one. We got we've got this thing. We had Peter Ravello on, Uncle Pete, on last time, and it was good, and I think people really liked him, and I think they were vibing with our thing. He's a funny dude, and we were talking about, comedians who we know who have lately gotten kind of weird opinions no. We're gossiping.
You want to go?
We're going straight. We're not gonna say weird. It's not weird, Mike.
Ooh.
This is beyond weird.
Okay.
They're straight up going alt-right.
Yes.
That's what
okay.
it is.
Yes, I would agree. They're going down that road for sure.
They're going that right.
Yeah.
These are people who we thought we were friends, and now they've fully. I'm gonna say fully. I mean,
wow.
His recent behavior is, it's wild. I mean, it's hard to watch. It's hard to.
It sucks. I mean, there's a particular comedian I have in mind that I saw this person recently at a comedy club, and I saw him and I was like, there he is. There is the dude, and he is my buddy. He's like the guy I grew up with in comedy.
Yeah.
Respect him, thought he was funny, still think he's funny. I'm like, hey man, what's going on? I said hi to him. I was like, hey man, what's going on? We like gave each other dap and stuff like that. And then later on, just through like BuzzFeed or something like that, I saw this person had
why was it on? Okay, wait. Say your thing and tell me why it was on BuzzFeed. So go ahead.
I saw this tweet this person had written, and I would say, honestly, it's not a good take. It's not. It's like a. I don't want to even say problematic or whatever. Okay, I don't want to say stuff like that because that comes with its own thing. I would say this is a bad opinion, and it is uninformed, and okay. Basically, this person tweeted about if everything's going on in Afghanistan, and this person was saying that anyone who is criticizing America should switch places with someone in Afghanistan, right? That's kind of like the gist of it, which is just essentially like a get out of my country thing. You either love America or get out or whatever, which is like that is I don't want to say all those like buzzwords. It is a bad opinion, it is, it's uninformed. It's it's hurtful. It's like, like this doesn't help anybody,
It's not like, it's too broad. You know what I mean? Like that's not like you're ignoring the history, like why Americans are there in the first place. Like
it's like a t-shirt, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a t-shirt slogan. You know what I'm saying? And like, you're not helping anybody doing this, and I know that, and that's the thing is that I know, I don't think this person's like that. If, like there are people suffering, I don't want to get into this as like this kind of podcast, but like, there are people who are suffering and they need help. And this is like someone in the back of the room, just like yelling something not helpful. This is not helpful in any way.
Two things. One, have you seen that TikTok thing that's been going viral about this guy who he just like he like dresses up like a Republican and interviews Republicans and makes them say stupid things. So he'll go up to a Republican and be like, "How are you feeling about how Biden is handling Afghanistan?"
Yeah.
And then the Trump supporter will be like, "Oh, he's just the fucking worst. Like, this what he's doing is terrible. Like how he's handling Afghanistan people, it's terrible. Those Afghani people, like, is that how you say Afghani? I don't know. Those people deserve better."
Yeah.
Right. And then he goes, "So do you think we should let them in as refugees?" And they go, "No." And it's just like them doing theatrics to be like, these people in Afghanistan deserve better, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is not the America that I grew up with. America is supposed to be the heroes. We're supposed to save people. And then you ask them if they can come over here, and they immediately stop crying or immediately stop acting. They go, "No, I think we should try to figure something out," or whatever. And it's so fucking disturbing and funny at the same time. I also want to say, okay, so you were like, this kid, we've talked about him before. He's a white comedian, and we've talked about him on a different episode before, and I think we said his name on there. So, anyways, if you're curious, go check that episode out.
Yeah.
And I think this is something that you and I struggle with because we're not really. We don't like to confront people. And I would like to ask our audience how they think they should handle this or how they think people should handle this. But there's this ongoing thing happening with usually it's people of color versus white people or whatever it is where, so level one is we always have to be the ones to give them a chance and see them as humans, right?
True.
If somebody makes a racist mistake or something like that, we have to be the ones to be like, hey, that wasn't cool. I know you're not even like that. Let me explain to you why, or just like, let me just look past this thing because I know deep down, you'd pick me up from the airport if I asked you to or whatever.
Yeah,
right? What I want to question is until what degree do we do that? Because when you said you knew this guy was doing stuff like this and you saw him at the show and your first instinct is to be like, hey, how's it going, man? Pretend like everything is okay.
Right.
I'm wondering at some point, do we need to just be like, hey man, I can't like talk to you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have him sort of pay the price, if you will.
Yeah. No, I totally get
right?
it.
And I'm not saying shame him.
Yeah.
You could just be like, because that is part of who he is. I don't care if it's to get followers, whatever it is. He is putting this out on the internet on a consistent basis. This is not just like, oh, I was drunk and I tweeted something kind of problematic. It's not like that. There's a pattern here. So
yeah.
I know that a lot of people of color, we're always trying, it's our mission to try to see white people as human beings, but to what extent is my question. Right. At a certain point, even if he's your friend, you have to be like, no more.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I think, I think for me, everyone has to be able to sleep at night. So like if whatever your personal values are, I'm of the thing where I don't want to do that. I've even said this, where I thought a comedian should maybe lose their job, right? Because and I was thinking about that and I was like, maybe they shouldn't. I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't lose their job over something that happened. I think that's me. I think I don't want to put that kind of energy out on someone because in some ways that's also like more work for me. Now I have to get mad at you, like now I have to do the work of like cutting out someone out of their life and like having that in my mind and having a grudge. Not even a grudge, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like I have to put this negativity on me when somebody else is they're the ones who are with the bad opinion. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. For me, I don't want to have to do that. I'm the one, I'm like trying to like, have a good mental health, like try to stay positive, try to like connect. But that's sort of, that's where my values lie, I think. And I know some people are not like that. And I think, honestly, we need both. I ran into a friend after one of my shows and she is like an immigration lawyer. And, we know each other. We know a lot of the same people. I was like, hey, do you still talk to this person? This is like an old friend from college. And she was like, no, I don't. She works for, this company that I'm literally at odds with him. And I was like, really? You guys were like such good friends. She's like, yeah, I still love her, but I don't talk to her anymore. This is how it is. And I was like, this is some real hardcore stuff. Yeah. And that was, and I know that's how that person is going to do it because the way that person's going to sleep at night is like, I have my values. This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I have my values. Maybe I'm not going to cut that person out, but because that's how I want to live my life. But I see the struggle or whatever you want to call it, us working through this as needing both those things. You know what I'm saying? You need to have that like someone who's going to be real harsh, I feel, and some people who are going to be a little bit more bridge makers, and I think I don't think there's one way to do it. You know what I'm saying? I also do know there's a limit for me. I've had that happen where like somebody has reached my limit and then I go, okay, I'm willing to take on this negative energy in order to deal with this. And I don't like doing it,
Right.
and I know if I'm going to do that, that person really, I mean, like I'm going to.
What would this person have to say for you to get to that level?
For someone
Like,
to do that to me they'd have to say something about my family, like personal. And then I would be like, okay, now we have a problem, like a real problem. And I'm talking about I know this makes me sound like I'm some sort of like, like I'm trying to be a badass, but like you do that, you say something like that to me. This is like, okay, we're getting in a fist fight and I'm willing to go to jail for that. You know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I've only had it happen a few times and I don't like the feeling. That's why I try not to do that. I mean, we can get it on that. We get it another time.
I want to hear that story for sure.
But that's what I'm saying. I think some people, you know, I could see where this person's tweet is a bad tweet, you know, and if this person said that about Vietnamese people, you know, now it's getting closer to where I live, you know, and I'm like,
I guess what I'm saying, my point is like, it's not about Vietnamese people, but if Twitter existed in the 1970s or 60s, he might have tweeted this exact same thing about
true.
Vietnam. And that's what I'm saying is like, I totally see your point about like, that's more work on me. But for me, pretending that everything is cool.
I'm not pretending everything is cool. I'm not saying that.
But you said, I'm not criticizing you, but you did give him a dap.
Yeah,
you did say, hey, how's it going?
But that's different, I think, from, I didn't like co-sign his tweet, you know what I'm saying that like, I'm not going to necessarily go the route of like, I'm not going to talk to you anymore yet. You know what I'm saying? I don't know this guy that well, you know, like I think there's different
I guess he wasn't
ways.
like a close friend to begin with.
Yeah, I think there's different ways to go at it. I think, you know, you talk to someone about it, you can, you know, my way of handling it is I'm on this podcast and I'm talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
let me ask you this. Would you book him on a show?
I would only book him on a show if I was going to talk to him about it. You know what I'm saying? Like if it was like germane,
if it was like a live pod,
if it was like germane to the show, you know I'm not gonna book him on Hack City because Hack City is like I'm the shepherd of that flock. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna invite the wolf into this thing. You know.
What I'm wondering sometimes though is like because I've done that same thing where it's like, oh, I know, like for example, like I'm gonna say her name because she's so open about this. There's a comedian named Chrissy Mayer who like I used to be kind of tight with.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah.
She was at the fucking Capitol during the riot. Like she was there.
Wow.
I mean, gone completely in that direction.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I saw her and she was like, hey, Fumi, I might be like, hey, Chrissy.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, like,
but
my issue is like, by me doing that, in her mind, she goes, I have an Asian friend.
Right.
Right? And to me, I'm just asking the question, is that dangerous? To put that thought in their mind. And I know it's an extra work for me, but is it that much extra work for me to just hide or something, hide. You know? Well, like hide, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, I see what you're saying, but I always feel like in that interaction of seeing someone, you see them at a party or something like that, you're not just dealing, that's why something like a tweet is so difficult to deal with in real life. Because you tweet about something and it went out there in the world or whatever the fuck it is. And then you meet that person and the context is completely different. You're at like a fucking cocktail party. What are you going to do? Like slap the drink out of his face? That's what I'm saying. Like it can only be like that if it was like, yo,
that's a good point.
You were talking shit about my mom. You and I have beef right now. I'm willing to fuck up this dinner party to handle our shit right now, you know. That's that's like a different context.
Yes.
That's why it's super weird. But I see your point but here's the thing: is like if you know, we're not gonna try to signal boost that shit. We're not booking them on our show. We're like talking about it here, and it has to be, you know, kind of how it is. But then when I see this person, you know, like, what, am I gonna pull out a knife or something? You know, it's like, I'm not gonna like, you know, this is just like another guy.
Yeah. Oh man, this is so complicated because
it is.
It's like everything you're saying is correct, but they're all at odds with each other in a weird way.
It is. That's what makes it so difficult, and I think that's what makes like social media so hard. Is like, you know, it reduces people to like the tweet that this person had, you know, and you can't like engage this. You know, like I don't co-sign this tweet in any way. You know, it is bad. Yeah. It is a bad tweet, you know, but this person is like a fully formed human being, which this is a bad, I wish I could take the neurons out of his brain and be like, this is the neurons who did it. The rest of the neurons might be okay.
Let's see. Look how much now you're doing work in your mind. You just became a surgeon.
I just did brain surgery in order to help.
You went to med school in your mind. You just.
Well, this was the hot goss, messy.
Messy
but
bitches
you know
talking
what?
hot goss.
When we get messy, we still get real. We get real.
I would love to do like a sort of an unscripted live show with you where we both drink wine and we sit in like really cute chairs from like an expensive furniture store,
and we get
both
real.
And we both wear suits, but it's like not argyle, but what is that pattern? It's got like
like paisley.
It's like paisley.
Oh, you mean like a smoking jacket? And we're like,
yeah. And there's like a bunch of books behind us, and then we're just talking about backlighting pubes or something.
That's what people come here for. So, bottom line, listen, leave us 5 stars. Talk about what I do want to hear from our fans.
I want to hear. I think we don't say that enough. I do want to hear from our fans about like what you thought about not the episode, but just like what do you think about some of the questions that we're asking. I'm not even asking you for an answer. Just like what do you think about what do you have someone like that in your life, and what do you do? Right. What are your values? We'd love to learn more about you.
Exactly. There's got to be a lot of like family that's like this. You're not going to kick your family out of your life unless they unless there's something really crazy. Again, they like. Yeah. I think especially with Asian people, I mean, fucking all my family love Trump, and I know they're not evil, or maybe they are evil, and I have to love them anyways. Yeah. That's
right.
So
no choice.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
So I want to hear. We want to hear from y'all, and that's it.
That's it, man. That was the episode. Again, so sorry about the guest. You can go ahead and send your angry DMs to Mike. Specifically, Mike.
Send it to me. I love getting DMs. I'm very lonely. So,
but some of the Patreon supporters, hey, you pay for this, so you're allowed to be mad. But anyways, we love you. We're gonna have a guest next week, and we're gonna try to rebook this person for another week. So, thank you so much for listening. We love you, and don't tweet anything bad about Afghanistan, okay? And stay off Twitter. We love you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.